Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Let's Talk Jailbreak, episode number 17. I am your host, Jeff Benjamin, with my co-host, drumroll please, Cody Lee. He is on the show today, filling in for Sebastien. How's it going, Cody?
I'm doing pretty good, Jeff. How about you?
I'm doing not so great. I think I might have the flu. So my voice isn't exactly up to snuff right now. So you're going to have to carry us.
Well, you sound wonderful. Just say.
Thank you. You're too kind. So this is your first time on the show.
Yes, it is actually. Long-time listener, first-time podcaster.
And you obviously work for IDB as well, right?
Yes, I have for quite a while now.
Right. I think you're probably the longest tenured person outside of Sebastien.
I think so too, actually. I think I started back in like 2009. Yeah. And I think I took some time off and then came back full time a couple of years ago.
Yeah. So you've been around for a long time. So for those of you guys who don't know Cody, you should know him because he's, been working like crazy on the blog, especially lately, but he's been around forever. So what is your day-to-day role with IDB?
Day-to-day? What do you mean day-to-day role?
What do
I do?
Yeah, what do you do?
Oh, I wake up, just kind of check around, see what the breaking news is, and I typically write 6 to 7 articles per day, depending on how busy it is, and you'll see me work a lot late into the night.
Yeah,
just because stuff tends to, a lot of stuff tends to happen kind of late in the night. So
right,
and I'm kind of a night owl, so
okay, well that works out good. So you cover pretty much everything on the site, right? I mean, you do jailbreak stuff, a lot of that.
Tweak reviews,
right.
app reviews, yeah. And then general Apple and tech news as well. Right.
So you're a pretty good person to have on. I mean, you're knowledgeable about all these various subjects. Whereas, it can be difficult to talk about jailbreaking with just anybody, but I know for sure that you are very knowledgeable on jailbreaking. So
well, thank you.
Yeah. So speaking of that, iOS 7 jailbreak. Can you give us, I know there was a couple of posts that were posted about the iOS 7 jailbreak. It kind of came out of the blue a little bit, but can you just give us an update as to what that's all about and what's involved and what can we expect?
Sure. Well, I mean, it was kind of a big weekend for that, right? Especially last night was kind of big on the jailbreak front. First, we had that picture of Activator running on the iPod Touch that, was running on iOS 7 and that Ryan Petrick tweeted out. And so...
Yeah. So what do you take from that? I mean, do you think that's legit? I'm pretty sure it's legit. Obviously, it's Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely legitimate. It's got to be... honestly, I heard that Cheapone's Failbreak, the developer hack had been closed up, but maybe not. Or maybe this is some other kind of method. Obviously, it's not anything close to publicly ready, but it's a good sign, right? That iOS 7 can be jailbroken.
Right. Very good sign. It's not even something I thought was... I don't even know if I even pictured hearing about an iOS 7 jailbreak this early. But
really?
Yeah. But I guess
it seems like last year, it was within 24 hours that Muscle Nerd tweeted out a picture of it was like an iPad or something that was jailbroken with the first iOS 6 beta. So
okay.
I was kind of surprised that it took this long, honestly. But maybe they've had it the whole time and just now decided to show it publicly.
Right. Yeah. So that's exciting. Obviously for jailbreakers, it's exciting, but it's just also because iOS 7, after you've used it, and I've been using iOS 7 for quite a while.
Right.
I'm looking forward to using this on my daily driver.
Right.
Just really looking forward to it. I don't have it on my main device yet, just because, that's my job to talk about jailbreaking, but I'm looking forward to being able to use iOS 7.
Yeah, same here. I have it on my 4S, but I would like to use it on my iPhone 5, but obviously I haven't yet because I use my iPhone 5 for my jailbreaking device. So
yeah,
I think it looks better on the longer screen, honestly.
Yeah, so I think so too. Looking forward to it. So now, was there some other iOS 7 jailbreak news?
Yeah, there was actually. So, most of you guys have probably seen that Joshua Hill, aka Project Ninja, he's been kind of talking up a secret project of his for a couple of months now, and just recently, actually it was last night that he said, I'm ready to I'm ready to launch this open jailbreak project. And from what we've gathered, it's an open source jailbreak of sorts that he's going to upload everything into a repository online. And that way people can add, people can kind of add to it. If they find if they find an exploit or something like that, they can add it to his work.
Right. So, what do you think about that?
It's tough. It's tough to just from the little bit of information that we have. It's kind of tough to say exactly what it is. But I mean, just from the report yesterday, it looks like Joshua Hill's got this team put together of jailbreakers or developers or whatever, and he's got Shernick's building a website where he's going to create this repository. Just this kind of like this is open to the public. Anybody who wants to contribute can contribute, and I think it's a good thing regardless. I mean, when you have a bunch of people working on towards the same goal, I think you get there faster.
Right, but my I guess you could say skepticism comes from the fact that, even in like a closed environment, the jailbreak, I mean, it requires a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of collaboration with, really skilled individuals. But it seems like with an open source, strategy, it would be.
You think sloppy?
I don't want to even say sloppy, just less cohesive. Like it would be more difficult to bring it to fruition, I guess you could say.
Okay.
I don't know. It just seems like you would need a very concentrated, focused group to pull this off. Like with Evasion, this was a very
concentrated effort.
It was a very concentrated effort. It was very well organized, obviously, and everybody knew their role in the process. So I just don't know. I mean, I'm skeptical. It's a good idea. I just don't know if it could be pulled off in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, well, here's my takeaway from it. At the very least, it's going to get more people involved. I mean, what is the saying? Many hands make light work. I think the more people that have, are working on a jailbreak, the better our odds are in anything. So I don't know. It's an interesting thought, and it's actually not even. It doesn't sound like that's the end game here. From what we heard yesterday, this is just a small piece of the puzzle that Project Ninja is working on.
Right. I guess I just don't know what to think of it at this point. It's kind of hard to even put a label on it, if you will. I don't know. I guess I need more information.
Yeah. I'm more interested in this second half of his project where he says something to the effect of think bigger than a jailbreak. And I mean, there's been a lot of speculation on what that means. Some people have proposed that maybe he has a boot ROM level exploit, where it kind of gives you low level system access where you essentially have an unlimited amount of jailbreaks for all of the applicable devices.
Right.
But some people have even suggested he's got his hands on signing keys where you could essentially load, sideload custom ROMs onto iOS devices like you would Android. And so, I mean, we don't know anything really yet. It's mostly speculation, but I'm intrigued. I'm anxious to see what he's been working on.
Yeah, I'm intrigued as well. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm just, this, I guess, pessimist.
Skeptic.
I'm not a pessimist, but I will say I'm extremely skeptical.
Okay.
And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes of this, but I'm not holding my breath, I guess you could say. But, if he pulls it off, more power to him. And I hope he does. I mean, I'm hope he is successful or whatever he does. But I don't know. It's just with jailbreaking, it's so labor intensive and it requires such a focus. I don't know if the open route is the route that's going to bring us, an actual product or something that actually ships. But we'll see.
Yeah.
So I think that was that pretty much it for iOS 7 jailbreak?
Yeah, that was pretty much and that all unfolded last night. So that was pretty much the bulk of the jailbreak.
So is iOS 6.1.3 or iOS 6, is that pretty much, you think that's done?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think it'd be silly unless they just happen to have 20 exploits that they know are patched in iOS 7 already that they don't mind burning on 6.1.3 or 4. I don't see that happening. It's pretty unlikely.
Okay. All right. Okay, cool. So yeah, it's it's an exciting time.
It is, yeah.
I think, especially once iOS 7 drops, it's going to be. I see a jailbreak probably sometime. It seems to be a pattern now. Like after the device launches in the fall,
Right.
then we get a jailbreak. The first of the year, sometime around there.
Late December, yeah, or early the next year.
Right, exactly. So I wouldn't expect an iOS jailbreak, a new jailbreak, until December, January timeframe.
Yeah. But I think this year will be bigger in terms of people anticipating the jailbreak, because just by all of the negative comments I've heard about iOS 7, I mean, and not even necessarily negative, but it's, what have we called it? Polarizing. Some people love it. Some people hate it. A lot of people really don't like the icons. And when you talk about jailbreaking, you can immediately fix that by installing a theme or tweaks or whatever you want to do. So I think it'll be a big fall for jailbreakers.
Yeah, iOS 7 just has tons of potential. I mean, just with so many different new features, new APIs, it's going to be really fun once we get a jailbreak.
Agreed, yeah.
So we know we had quite a few, well, not really. It's kind of a down week for tweaks, I guess you could say, but there were a couple that we'd like to talk about. The first one was PatternUnlock. Did you get to check out that?
Yes, I have actually. I installed it, I think, the day that your report went up, because I've always really liked that style of unlocking the phone. It's cool to me. It's easier and more flashy than just typing in your PIN code or whatever.
Yeah. So do you use it? Is that something you use on a day-to-day basis? Or?
I used it through the weekend. Over the weekend, I ran a semi restore where I completely wiped everything except Cydia and then my stock applications. But I used it up until then, and I liked it a lot. I liked it better than some of the other ones I've tried. What is it? Android Lock XT? Is that the other one?
Yeah. I like it a lot better than
it.
That.
Seems smoother, and there's not so many things to configure, and yeah, and I like the different, what was it, Invisible? There's different themes that came with this one, and I like Android Flat, I think, is the one I was using.
Right, and this one is a lot more forgiving when it comes to unlocking. Like, it's less tedious. You make less mistakes because there's that snapping that he uses. The developer, Jonas Gessner, he uses a snapping feature which makes entering complex patterns on your PatternUnlock a lot easier.
Right, those lines that kind of pop up and...
Right.
Yeah, exactly. It does make more complex unlock codes look easier to put in.
Yeah, I found myself always entering the wrong. If I had a complex pattern with Android Lock XT, I found that it took me 6 or 7 times to get it unlocked. Whereas with this, it's 1, 2 at the most. So yeah, Android Lock XT though, it does have quite a few options. Like it has the ability to keep your device unlocked when it's on a certain Wi-Fi network,
right? Or
when a certain Bluetooth device is connected, I think. So there's a lot of those extra options there. But if you want something that's just a focused, complete pattern-based unlock tool, then PatternUnlock is the way to go, I would think.
Yeah, it's very solid, very reliable, and like I said, it felt more fluid. I don't use complex patterns, but like you said, it was easier to put in my pattern, if that makes any sense.
Right, yeah. And I just noticed I made a typo. Oh, I hate that. All right, so yeah, so PatternUnlock is how much? Is it
$2.99 or $1.99?
$1.99.
Okay.
On Cydia's Big Boss repo.
And definitely worth it.
Definitely worth it. If you're into that sort of thing, then it hands down the best one to use.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Okay, so what else do we have on the docket here?
Were we going to talk about HomeDisplay?
HomeDisplay. Yeah, this is the second status bar, right?
Right, the one that pops up on your home screen just below the stock status bar.
So basically, this is just a tweak that gives you a second status bar whenever your device is on the home screen. Only when it's on the home screen.
Right. So if you're in an app like Settings or your phone app, you're not going to see it.
Exactly. And this provides you with the current date. It also gives you, I think, the temperature.
It'll give you the temperature, and then when you're playing music in your iPad, in your music app, it will show you the now playing track. And I think it actually works with Spotify too.
Yeah, it does. I don't know about this one, man. I don't like too. I mean, it just looks out of place for one thing.
Yes.
The shadow and it's just not very well designed as far as visually.
Yeah, I'd agree. I don't. It doesn't match the top status bar. I know what you're talking about. It's
Not
kind
at
of
all.
it's kind of like a different texture, right, or something that.
Yeah, it has shadows on the font, and it's just I don't know. It's not pretty.
Plus, it's not real practical either. It's you can only see it when you're on the home screen, and even there, it's kind of an eyesore.
Right. Yeah, and it's like, okay, why do I need the date on my? I don't know. You have the date icon, the calendar icon there. So I don't know. It's I guess some people will appreciate having music. They're now playing track scrolling on their. But I think that would just be better suited just for the status bar itself. Like why not just make the status bar do this?
Exactly. Instead of having a second one.
And there are tweaks that do that, by the way. I can't think of them by name, but yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't real impressed with HomeDisplay just from a visual standpoint, and then even just the functionality standpoint. I couldn't really get behind what it was trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it's $2.
Yeah, so that's another thing. It's like I think you said something in the article about for the functionality. That's kind of a weird price. They might want to. I mean, maybe he'll flesh it out eventually with more features, more options. But right now, I don't think it's worth $2.
Yeah. Yeah. There's and as the comments, I see all the comments here. They cite the design, the fact that there's other tweaks that do this on the status bar. So yeah, I think the commenters are in agreement with that. So, home displays, again, it's $2 on Cydia's Big Boss repo. All right. So next up is Actiwidget.
Yeah, Actiwidget from Ryan Petrick as part of his ongoing Activator.
This guy doesn't stop working.
Right? I was going to say he doesn't sleep. He's been on a tear lately with these Activator editions.
Yeah. Then he posts the jailbreak, and I don't know. He doesn't sleep, like you said.
What do you think of this? I'm actually really impressed with this idea. And it seems so simple. I'm surprised it's only just now coming to be.
Yeah, it seems so obvious. But go ahead.
Oh, so for those who don't know what we're talking about, Actiwidget is basically allows you to put Activator shortcuts in your notification center. So I can't think of a good example right now. Let's say play your iPod. You want to do the iPod music control play, you can put that in there. And I don't know why you would do that, but just for an example. But you can put anything you want up there, and you can use any of the Activator functions that you want. Is there a limit on how many you can put up in the notification center?
I didn't test it out, but it seems like you can just put a lot because it actually scrolls. Right. So I don't know if there's a limit, but I'm sure you can put plenty in there.
Right. So to where Activator normally you can put behaviors or different actions. You can I don't know what's the word I'm thinking of. You can connect them to different things like touching the volume down button or triple tapping your home button. If you don't want to do that, you can just put one of these Actiwidgets up in your notification center, and it's just a quick button press.
Yeah. So if you're running out of gestures, if you already assign all the known gestures to these actions and you need some more, then Actiwidget is great. Is a great tweak to use. One thing I will say, it's not the prettiest thing, but obviously this is still in development. It is still in beta. It's available on Ryan's beta repo, which is rpetri.ch/repo. Add that to your Cydia sources, and then you can download Actiwidget. So it's free. Yeah.
Yeah, these aren't really beautifully designed buttons. They're pretty bulky, pretty standard, pretty rough, but like you said, it's in beta, and I just think the idea is pretty cool.
Yeah, and the themers are probably not far behind.
No, or other developers even, to embed this and roll this up into different tweaks.
Yeah, so yeah, I think it's a very promising widget add-on for Activator. And the way it works is you actually go into the Activator's preferences, and then you can set up, there's a menu there that will be there for Actiwidget, and then you just add actions to that menu. And you can rearrange them, you can delete them, you can add them. All that can be done on the fly. No need to respring or any of that. So that's really nice to have.
Yeah, and that brings us to, let's talk about Activator as a whole right now, and what Ryan Petrick's been doing with it over the last month. I mean, just in the last month, he's added several features. Now, mind you, it's still in beta. He hasn't released it to the public yet, but I know you've done 3 or 4 articles. I did one over the weekend where he added scheduled action, so you could schedule your phone to respring or reboot at 7 p.m. at night, and it will do it.
That is amazing. I think this is going to be really cool. I was playing with it the other day, and I really like the ability to set up a schedule events. Like, you can schedule it to do anything at any time. Any Activator action that's available in Activator, you can schedule it at any time using the new Activator release candidate 1.
And you can set it up to repeat, right? So if you want it to repeat every day at 1 o'clock, you can do that.
Yeah, you can make it a repeat. So for instance, like you said, good idea. You want to respring, just have your device fresh and new, or you want to I don't know, reboot. I guess that's an option too. You can set that to do that at midnight every night, or say you want do not disturb on. Well, do not disturb can already be scheduled, but say you want airplane mode to come on at a certain time every day. Well, you could do that. Say you want to turn off Wi-Fi at a certain. It's just the options are unlimited, and there's also like ringtones. Now you can assign ringtone actions that can sound off these ringtones that you have on your device. Thought that was cool.
One of the cool examples I came across or just kind of came up with is you can schedule. Let's say you scheduled your device to let's say you wake up at 8 a.m. in the morning. So you can schedule your device to respring at 7:55. Set your music to start playing at 7:59, and set Tweetbot to load up at 8:01, all from Activator. So as you wake up, you're getting woke up by your favorite song, and then you've got Twitter open so you can kind of check out what's going on in the tech world. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
That is awesome. I just think the limit, like Activator was always a great tweak or a great app, but he's really tapping its potential because its potential is unlimited. And then think about like having custom. I mean, this can even infiltrate into other tweak territory, like being able to send custom text messages at certain times, or I don't know. It's just interesting to think of the possibilities.
It is, because when you think of how open this tweak is for other developers, I know he provides all kinds of documentation, and other developers have already used Activator in their tweaks, but with these new functions, I think the sky's kind of the limit here.
Definitely one of my favorite releases of 2013. Well, it's been out longer than that, but it's kind of flown under the radar, right? I've noticed that it just hasn't been as popular as some of the bigger tweak releases, like let's say Velox or something like that. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth more attention just because of all the cool stuff he's doing right now. Yeah. So it's this newest version of Activator is definitely a candidate for tweak of the year or app of the year, jailbreak release of the year.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's I'm probably more excited for this than I have been about most of the releases in the past.
Yeah. Yep. So keep it up. Good job. So I think that pretty much wraps up all of our tweaks. There are some other ones there, but I think that pretty much covers it. Do you have anything else you want to mention or talk about?
As far as tweak-wise, no. Let's see. What's happened? Did you see these? What was it? These iPhone shells that leaked over the weekend?
Yeah, I actually just read that today.
Okay. Yeah, there's been, at first just a green one came out, but later on a couple more colors surfaced, and people seem to think that these might actually be the shells of Apple's rumored budget iPhone.
It looks pretty legit.
It does look, actually. It kind of shares a little bit of the iPod Touch's kind of curved corners, but it also keeps in line with what we've seen with like the iPhone 5.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if this actually pans out. But I always take, I don't know, these rumors. It's tough to get excited about anything anymore because, I mean, these could just as easily be Chinese fakes, Chinese knockoffs. Yeah. So I don't know. It's I don't know about the budget iPhone. I'm not sure. Some people are saying it's a reworked iPhone 4S, or I just don't like. And they're saying it may not be as as inexpensive as once thought.
Right. They're looking in like the $300 to $350 range for full manufacturing, full retail, I guess.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, that doesn't scream budget iPhone when you have Android handsets that are $100 or $200.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'll just have to wait to see what.
Well, think about how long this thing's been rumored for, right? I think I looked on the site the other day, and the furthest back I could find a record of a quote unquote, cheaper iPhone was like back in 2009. Like this thing's been around in the rumor mill for a long time, just because I think people just want to see Apple expand its iPhone line like they have its iPod line and like they're starting to do with their iPad line.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice.
And I think it would help them, and we talk about this on the site all the time, I think it would help them get into emerging markets where it's not very popular. Apple doesn't have very big market share right now, like India or China, where most of their wireless customers are on prepaid plans. And so they're not getting contract subsidies. They're paying full retail for phones. And if you're talking a 4S or a 5, you're talking $500-$600.
Yeah.
So I think it would be a big, huge positive for Apple as a company to, release something not necessarily that's plastic and cheap looking, but something less expensive for those markets.
Yeah, I will say this looks pretty cheap looking though.
It does, kind of those
looks
plastic
really
shells
cheap looking. I just don't buy that Apple. I mean, even like look at the so-called budget iPod Touch or the so-called budget iPod Nano, or I mean, those are cheaper devices, but they still don't look cheap,
Right.
Like my iPod, I guess the latest iPod Touch, the cheap one without the camera. It looks good. I mean, I actually think it looks better than the more expensive iPod just because it doesn't have that stupid camera protruding out of the back.
And kind of little bulbs,
yeah. So I don't know. I just don't see Apple releasing something that looks like these so-called leaks.
Yeah, you bring up a good point too, because those devices are cheaper, the iPod Nano or the iPod Touch without a camera, but they sacrifice features versus sacrificing build quality.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting to see maybe an iPhone, a less expensive iPhone that had maybe a worse camera or just some other kind of reduced features that aren't as good as its flagship handset.
Yeah, I mean, just look at all right, and this isn't exactly the greatest comparison, but think about consoles, video game consoles. Right. Like after, this happens every generation of consoles. It's been happening ever since the original Nintendo. They released the first iteration, and then a few years down the line, they released an updated version that's cheaper. But it's cheaper because the components to create the device are cheaper, obviously, as time goes on. So I just see them using like older components.
Yeah.
And
that's what they've been doing, actually. If you think about it, they continued to sell the 4 after they released the 4S. They continued to sell the 4S after they released the 5. And it's exactly what you're saying. The components are cheaper after they've been making these for a while. They've got the manufacturing process streamlined, so there's no bottlenecks, there's no other issues. So overall production is cheaper. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say if they're going to continue on that route or if they're going to build a whole new iPhone for the low end market.
Right. Yeah.
But it's interesting to me. Any kind of rumors, I mean, I don't believe every rumor I read, obviously, but they interest me because they always present a new dynamic to the company.
Yeah, and you're the best at the rumors. I think.
Nah,
you and Chris do a great job, man.
We try to cover them with skepticism, but also kind of enthusiasm because I think it excites him as much as it does me of the potential of new products.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right, last thing, Google Reader.
Google Reader, yeah, that shut down today, actually, didn't it?
It's supposed to be. Let me go out there. Let's see, reader.google.
I was gonna say I haven't actually gotten the message that says Google Reader is shut down.
Yeah, it says, just a reminder, Reader will not be available after July 1st. Please be sure to back up your data. So I guess tomorrow, maybe 12
oh, okay. So
12 o'clock Pacific time, it's gone.
Huh.
So if you still want to go out there and grab your Google Reader stuff, you want to export all your items, then you better do that now because it's gone.
And if you're not sure what to do, we did a great post over the weekend about how to do all the different reader alternatives, and then how to sync and back up your Google Reader feeds if you haven't done that yet.
Do you talk about Fever?
Did I talk about Fever?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Yes. Guys got to talk about Fever. That's the best alternative to me, because Fever is standalone. It runs on your own server. Okay. So you don't have to worry about some other company shutting down. It just runs on your own box. Set up your own feeds. Feedofever.com. Check it out.
So wait, you have to have your own server to run this?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it literally is running like on my website, and I just, you can import all your feeds from Google Reader, and then it just, runs itself. You don't have to worry about some other silly third party shuttering and losing all your stuff.
I've looked at a lot of the replacements, but to be honest, I'm not that worried about it. I wasn't using Google Reader as much when I heard the announcement back in March, and now it's almost non-existent to me, just because I read through most of my daily news on either Twitter or Google's news section on its website.
Right. Yeah, it's becoming less relevant, but I still think there's a core audience out there that does read, stay up.
Well, Google's product director actually said something to that effect, that, look, it was inevitable that Reader was going to shut down because people just their news intake isn't what it used to be. Back in the day, people used to wake up, and while they were eating breakfast or drinking their morning coffee, they were reading the news, or they were doing it on their, after they got off work, sometime in the evening. And now people are just getting the news as it happens on Twitter. They're getting push notifications from different news apps.
Right.
Once something happens. So it's just kind of a product of the times.
Yeah. Yeah, it's understandable. But I will always be a Reader fan, RSS fan.
Sure. That Fever thing sounds cool. I might have to check that out.
Yeah, check it out. It's like a $30 one-time fee, and then from then on, it's yours.
Oh, cool. So no monthly thing.
No monthly thing. Check it out. So yeah, I think that covers everything today. What do you think?
I think that does. Oh, we haven't talked about my trip to Vegas.
Oh yeah, you're going on vacation.
Yeah, I leave
tomorrow. Yeah.
Tomorrow morning we fly out, and I will be in Las Vegas, Nevada for the next 5 days. So I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, so we'll hold things down while you guys are vacation. I know Sebastian's he's in Chicago now, isn't he? And then I think he goes to France. Man. Yeah, I'm jealous actually. He's going to France, but I'm also looking forward to Las Vegas. If you don't hear from me on Friday, send help. Okay. All right. All right. We'll do that. All right. So thanks for joining me on the show today, Cody. Of course, this probably won't be the last time you do so. I know Sebastian. Thanks for having me. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Sebastian will probably be gone for a while, for at least a few weeks. So maybe next week we'll have you on again. I would love it. It's been a good time. Awesome. After you get rested up and everything. Right. After I recover from this vacation. Yeah. All right, man. We'll talk to you later. This has been Let's Talk Jailbreak episode number 17. We'll see you next week.